Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Party Makes Things Worse Monster of the Week edition, The Prince of Charming. We've had 1 week off, so I hope everybody's feeling refreshed. Last week was pretty heavy combat, but we're going to have one of our players here give us a breakdown on what happened last, a bit of a recap. Otherwise, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And now that we're getting into spooky season here, hopefully we can keep that energy up. So keep that in mind. All right. First off, we're going to do character facts and then a recap. Character fact prompt for everybody here today is, what is the last Halloween costume your character wore? Not the best, not their favorite, the last one they wore. And you can give it like when, what was the circumstance around it? Anybody have something? All right,
Yeah.
Charles.
All right. So mine, it was mainly like the rest of the track and field team kind of like called Charles in and they're like, Charles, we're like, we need some motivation. We want to watch you run around the track. And he's like, well, fine, all right. And so it wasn't exactly his own Halloween costume, but it was kind of like a collaborative project. And so as he was turning one of the corners, two of the guys like sprung up with a big sheet. He plowed right into it and it sort of like got on him. But because of his horns, he didn't want to like pull it off or anything because it got a little snagged. And so he just kept on running the entire lap looking like this giant like sheet ghost.
Hell yeah.
And
I think, did that start like a mythos around your character? Because I think it probably would.
probably, I imagine like the sprinting ghost going around the track, like in the corner of people's eyes, maybe in the late evening or something, would probably cause some rumors.
Oh, yeah.
Jim
nice.
is like slowly filing away, like he had that in his little pegboard at the shed. So you,
What does it mean?
What does it mean? So yeah, Jim, his last one was a scarecrow that he purposely would set himself up and then scare anyone that touches his flowers. Ever needs to chase people around, get off my lawn.
Now, here's the
He'd
only
always plan
question.
himself.
Did you see any cryptids while you were dressed up as a scarecrow, keeping them away from the flowers?
He swears he has. He can't confirm anything.
No,
He also
no
feels like it was
photographic
happening.
evidence. He
was
saw
also-
it.
He saw it, and then he was just like, things are happening behind me, but I can't give away my position. Not now. Until now. It scares away the rabbits.
I like the idea that you were like on a post facing one direction and you heard like behind you and you're like, I can't let him know that I know. Very good. Okay.
Question.
Yeah,
What
go ahead.
year is it?
It is 1991.
Yeah.
91. Awesome. I'll go then.
Great.
Yeah, go
Because of my time with FBI, I know some good disguise artists and disguise kits and all that fun stuff. I went to a costume party and won the costume contest. I went as the monster from Little Monsters.
Give me 1 second while I pull up Google. Google, tell me what Little Monsters.
It's
Is that Howie Mandel?
Yeah, that one.
Huge.
That's a wildly elaborate Halloween costume to wear.
He pulled in some favors that the FBI had for Quantico.
Those
To get that-
disguise kits.
That's a wild Halloween costume.
People did think I was a cryptid.
It's anybody who's listening right now, pull up a separate tab and type in Little Monsters if you don't know what we're talking about, because it is kind of a disturbing look.
I refuse to believe Connor did not get some kind of paint toxicity for the next month.
100%. He was actually bleeding from his one eye for a bit.
I bet you that Connor thinks that this whole experience is residual effects from that, because it's only been a few months since the last Halloween.
Easily.
Very nice. All right. We got Jessica and we got Thomas left. Who's going?
I can go. I was just looking up Little Monsters ?
It's
Oh
weird.
my
It's a weird movie.
God.
It's a super weird movie.
What do you mean, Howie Mandel?
It's Howie Mandel. I know you couldn't tell by the blue paint and
There is-
horns and everything.
There's a crossover
Big
between his famous germophobia and getting into 6 hours of makeup, and I struggle to understand how those two things
Little known fact,
coexisted.
Howie Mandel actually put all that makeup on himself. I'm lying. Anybody who's listening to this thing, I'm telling the shit that is a lie.
I had
just like to
no
tell
reason
lies.
to disbelieve you. I was just
I
like,
wonder why.
okay.
I mean, it looks like he might have.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyways, I was gonna say that Jessica's Halloween costume last year was completely Edward Scissorhands. And I mean, like, she was Edward Scissorhands. She's not like the girl from Edward Scissorhands. She was Edward Scissorhands. Came out last year, 1990.
Yeah, wow. So just a
No.
few months ago, you were full on. How good was it?
It was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, it was homemade, but it was actually pretty good.
What I love about this is it's like early 90s, so the delay between in theaters and video release is long. So Jessica went to see that movie like 6 times
Taking notes.
to
Correct.
take notes on Edward Scissorhands.
Correct.
Wait, is one of your weapons a blade, like a kitchen knife or
It's a
something?
kitchen knife.
So what? For
Big
sure,
scissor.
your weapon was just repurposed Edward Scissorhands. I like that.
I will say that's not the one I thought you'd pick. I thought you were going Beetlejuice.
Good.
Oh my
I
god,
think
that would
was,
be me.
That was 88.
Yeah, it could have been.
Uh,
Maybe that was the year before,
That
a couple
was
years
like
before.
the year before.
All right, Thomas.
I'm trying to crunch the numbers on something really quick because there's a very funny option. When did the first 78? All right, it's 91, so 78 was
13 years ago.
13 years ago. Okay, so
Oh,
Thomas would have been like 14. So Thomas's last Halloween costume he wore on a job, and he just had to put on a costume so that he could go investigate
Hitman style.
like some cryptid nonsense. He needed to go to like a big costume party, and he had already gotten in trouble with the local police. So he went and bought a random costume, and he, like I said, very rarely gets to go to the movies, so he doesn't really remember a lot of them. And so he was like, I remember a horror movie from when I was a kid. And so he put on a Mike Myers costume, like a Michael Myers costume, and went to this party to hunt down this cryptid. And so it was just him dressed in a full Michael Myers costume in the woods near a party looking
No.
for like a banshee. And so there is a long story somewhere on a 90s blog about this time that they thought for sure Michael Myers was there to kill them all. Like people at the party were asking
Interesting.
each other like, did you guys hire somebody to go do that?
Absolutely.
And it was just
wild.
Thomas with binoculars, like, where the fuck is it? Just looking for something out in the woods.
The silence of the Michael Myers character versus a banshee too is like a good juxtaposition.
And Thomas was just like, I don't really remember the movie that much, but I mean, he's got the same name as that funny guy. It can't be that bad. And so he just dressed up in it and caused a ruckus. So
This
that's
won't
his.
have any. It's like the clowns in 2014 that were in the woods.
He was
There's
like,
definitely
Yeah.
some stuff
This
about
won't have
that.
any consequences.
Yeah,
And just sort of went about his day.
Very nice. What I like about this character fact is we're doing such a short series that it won't come up, but I could see callbacks to every single one of these things in a longer campaign. Like, we have to do a heist. I've only got one mask, and you throw on the Michael Myers mask.
Damn it. Yeah, exactly. That'd be pretty good.
So, it is now time for the recap of last episode. I think I have an inkling on who's going to be taking this one.
Yeah, I'm out of the penalty box. Let's go. All right. Most importantly, last session's character facts was the birthday parties that each of us would have. Jessica would have a dress-up 70s party with Chinese food and horror movies. Connor would have a luau pool party with a BB range. Charles would have a big salad, would take everybody trail running, and then do a meditation. So no one's going to Charles' birthday. And Thomas, my character, would have an Indiana Jones watch party, get McDonald's, and play Dungeons and Dragons. Huge character facts. I guess, Nick, if you want to start pondering Jim Duggan's ideal birthday, we could get that at the end of the recap pretty smooth here.
I can just give it to you right now. He's
Yeah.
just a lonely dude. He just has a nice candlelit dinner, and he just buys his own birthday cake from the little Walmart and just eats there alone.
I love that. That's
That's
Jim's,
ideal.
Jim's ideal birthday is I cook myself a ribeye and buy a full-size cake, and no one's there to watch me eat it. And I can kind of respect that. I can get
Jim
Jim is
behind
already
it.
living his best life. That's what you guys don't get.
People look at Jim and they think Jim is sad. This is Jim's perfect future. All right, so from there, we both are headed off. Both groups in 2 different vehicles are headed to the hospital. Thomas, Charles, and Will are a little bit faster in the truck, so we get there first. Begin to investigate. We grab a shotgun out of the cop car. The fire alarm is going off, but the actual ringing alarm has since died. There's a dead nurse behind the desk. We see at least 3 other dead bodies. We break left down the hallway towards the ICU. We realize the fire department is going to be on their way. We get on the radio and tell Connor Connors to light a car on fire. That way the firefighters don't go inside to where the supernatural violence is happening. They stay outside. We begin to open doors and get people out. At that exact same time, Emily, Jim, Jessica, Connor all arrive. Emily and Jim stay in the car. Jessica and Connor go inside. Jessica and Connor immediately save like 30 people. We totally picked the wrong direction when we decided to go left. You guys quickly get a bunch of people out who are therefore going to be A-okay, including a father and son that Spencer described in so much detail. And now I don't know if that was just him in the moment trying to flesh out the scene, but he really slowed down on those 2, so there's a chance that an older man with a young child is going to come up at some point in the near future. Excuse me. We then hear a shot go off. Both groups converge. We find the sheriff lifted up into the air by one of these undead sort of not quite a zombie, right? So this seems to be some kind of spirit or something that is hopping corpses and bashing people, but it seems to have to use a stone. It briefly uses a scalpel, but it was revealed off stream that it's because scalpels are tipped with diamonds, which are kind of a rock, which I think is great. Pretty good there. We kick into full gear. Charles kicks the thing in the chest. We discover that cervine is the word for deer, for equine, but for deer instead of horses. And then Thomas shoots the dead body in the chest. It fully dies. We help the sheriff. It jumps to another body. Jim and Connor get into a brief firefight with it. They kill it again. And it does not quickly reemerge the next time. Charles then uses his weird powers to very painfully heal the sheriff and Thomas of their wounds, which does sort of save us in the upcoming moment, so no tea, no shade. Spencer says the first word that we've decided is going to be on merch, so wait on the Schlorpely t-shirt. Schlorpely t-shirt's coming out any day now. We're going to get that up. Maybe Redbubble or something. We run outside after hearing a scream. We find that one of these undead things has begun to kill the injured patients outside to just create more bodies. So this thing clearly wants to be surrounded by as many options as possible. Jessica does some magic to knock it down as it tries to flee. We put down that supernatural horror and then look over to the other body that it had thrown that we knew was dead, and that body was gone, which means the creature has either run off or is about to sneak up on one of us. That depends on what Spencer's about to narrate, and that's the breakdown.
We enter the scene. In the moment, the party looks around, trying to discern where this undead being might be. It's already crawled away. There is a dead body still bleeding out on the parking lot in front of you all after having been clobbered by the party in its entirety. That is no longer a threat, as it has been essentially beheaded by a large bullet. You turn and you see the missing form. Well, I guess you don't see the missing form. You see the spot on the parking lot where there was a body recently deceased that is no longer there. Looking around, you see nothing. No sound, no sight of it. It doesn't jump out at any of you. It is eerily quiet here, save for the sound of the fire alarms boom, 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 from inside the building.
And also, probably some noise coming from the burning Mercedes.
Yeah, there's still a bit of a
We're
going on there.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I love that for this scene, though. So that whole fight happens with all of us, like, bloody, cast in the fires of that car burning. That's pretty great. All right, absolutely. Thomas will take the moment to get the shotgun back out then, if we have a moment of peace, and start to kind of back up towards everybody else, gun in hand.
Jim is taking his breather right now, still feeling those bruised ribs. He's still understanding. Like, what? Can someone tell me what is going on? Where is it? What's going on? I don't understand.
Well, Jim, to put it to you as briefly as we possibly can, something has started hopping around to different dead bodies. So anytime you put one down, it's liable to pop up in the next one, which means we should try to get it in handcuffs or stick it under a rock or drop it in a river or whatever it is we gotta do. That's everything that we know now, my friend. I wish I could tell you more. And it needs to use rocks. It used a rock and it used a scalpel, and on our way out I saw an advertisement for diamond tip scalpels, and I put all the pieces together. So I guess we can also just put ourselves somewhere with no rocks and we will be sort of mildly safer.
So some
We
sort
got
of
it.
zeppelin.
Do we got anything to pull it down? Do we have any cuffs? Do we have any rope?
I look
Yeah,
at
I
Connor.
got. I have cuffs. I assume I'd have rope.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
know why you would make that. I guess the janitor van might have it. That's fair
Yeah.
enough. I was gonna say, why would Connor? Connor takes a. Wait a minute. That's D&D in your blood. You're like, I got 50 feet of hemp
got
and rope
rope.
somewhere, don't I?
No, I was thinking janitor stuff.
The two most important jobs you could have in this moment.
Right.
Cop and janitor. You got them covered. The sheriff says, yeah, and I got cuffs as well if we need to use them. I mean, I've always got them on me. I got extra back in the office station, so.
Yeah. You said the sheriff was healing magically but slowly. How's he doing? Is he back up to full, or does he have a couple more hours to cook?
He's still got a while to
Okay.
cook. He's just stable, basically. He's got to rest.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, we got options for that, but he looks around and he's like, I think I need to cordon off the area and get everybody else that might be in there out.
Yeah. The fire
Sir.
alarm's going off, and I don't see any firefighters, and I don't hear any. Sheriff, is the radio in your car off?
He runs over and he checks. The radio is on. He can.
Is he hearing
Tune
any
in,
chatter on
calls
because
out.
usually there's that like neutral line where you hear fire, rescue, like all those things go
Mhm.
out on similar bands.
He cycles through and he's listening. And over the radio, you guys hear a muffled like, "Yep, we've got the fire under control over here. We should be out of here in about the next 15, 20 minutes or so. We're just checking on anybody who might still be around, making sure they didn't see anything." And he calls out and he says, "What are y'all seeing? What? I missed. There was a call at the hospital. What's going on?" And they call back over and they say, "There's a fire at the." I'm gonna pull up here really quick, just so I don't miss it.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, is it a pure distraction or is it another goal?
I don't think that I have the name written down, so I know one of you will. They say there's a fire at the church, down by the club.
First, I think it's Charming First Baptist.
Yeah, they just say the church, down by the country club, and he goes, "Oh, yeah," and he says, "How's it looking? Is there anybody injured, hurt?" And the firefighter says back, "You should probably come down. You should probably get over to the church." And he looks back at all of you.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, let's get a move on. Let's mosey on over. I can't believe, so the church, wait. I just say, wait. So your church is literally a church/country club? I thought William was speaking metaphorically. It's a church/country
It's in the same
club.
area. The church by the country club.
Oh, I was like, damn, you just did the
No.
thing, didn't you?
Similar area.
All right, yeah, I mean, I'll say, I can take the truck, Sheriff. Can you drive?
Yeah, I can drive. You can see he's still holding the wound, but he'll be able to drive. He's stable. Yeah, I'll drive. But and he looks back at everything else going on here. He's like, I don't really want to split up in this scenario because
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is we've all seen what we've seen here tonight. There's not much doubt left in the room. Connor, don't worry. It's all an acid trip. You'll wake up in the morning and it'll smell like roses. I don't see many places for us to go other than the woods to find the cabin that Charles found or the church to see what's going on. And if there's
And
already something taking us there, we might as well ride, right?
you also hear Will Graham speak up. He says, "We also could talk to my father. I know that was on the table, but seems
Maybe
less
he'll
pressing now.
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
he'll be down by the burning church, perhaps.
He shouldn't be. Should be home."
Hmm.
well, we got to go somewhere, and I think it seems like we're going to the church, right? If there's an incident there, we know it's related. We can at least poke around and see what we see. Will's with us, so we don't have to worry about his dad doing anything exceptionally cruel or unusual, because we've got Will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I
Did
think
you
we.
all say something about putting Will in a disguise as well, or shall he be just out
I
in
got
the
a
open
Mike.
for now?
I got a Michael Myers mask in the back of the truck. That's about all I got, though. I guess I'll say then, Connor, you said you can do stuff with special effects makeup. I get the impression, and I look at the sheriff. We do
Oh
not have
no.
an hour and 45 minutes to wait to go do what
Gotcha.
we're gonna do.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm not that fast. Best I could do is like a dye job, like a hair dye, and like probably about that time, a little haircut. I couldn't apply like extra stuff.
So I'll just say out of character then. Do we think there's anything to this? Do we think it is at all worth our time to have Jessica drive the van and Connor give him a hair dye in the back of the van and make his hair black or whatever? Or do we think we are spinning our wheels on some true genuine bullshit? What do you think? I think it's fun, but I don't think it's in fiction, right? I've never seen a horror movie where they're like, let's dye his hair so that the devil doesn't recognize him. I'm not
Who
sure
the
that
hell is
math
that?
adds up.
Who is that guy?
Maybe
I don't think it's gonna hide his soul blight for him to be a
Maybe-
ginger.
if we get some more research done, maybe we can like find some sort of like protective sigil and dye his hair into that sigil or something.
I
but
think that
maybe
it's on
like
brand for
overnight.
the 90s grunge style we've got going.
Just
so
give him
that probably works.
give him Liberty spikes and shave it into the side. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, then yeah, let's just get going. I don't think it's a super great use of our
Alright.
time. Let's jet. I'll take the truck. We want to do same division. I'll take Will and Charles, and you guys can go in the van, and we all meet there.
That sounds good to me.
Sure, I'm just going to keep my eyes closed the whole ride.
Great. Sheriff, can you say out loud that we are all deputized and were deputized when we were shooting corpses in the hospital, please? And
Yeah,
I
I'll tell you
take
what.
the recorder out of my car and click record.
You all are deputized, so welcome to the force. Go under my purview to handle what's going on over there. I gotta shut this place down. I can't let anybody come into this stage. So please go handle that, and then I'll stay on the radio if anything happens.
Absolutely. What time is it? Is it like 9:40 or is it earlier, later?
It's a little bit later. We're looking at like almost 11 p.m. at this point.
Okay, Thomas looks at his watch and then says out loud in front of the recorder, "Thank you so much, Sheriff, for deputizing us at 9:45 p.m." And then he hits stop and gets in his car.
I also agree with that time that you said.
Yeah. Okay.
There
Great.
you go. All right. Good luck. Godspeed. I'll text. I'll make a call out on the radio if anything happens. And he turns and he like runs back towards the building to
Shit.
try. And lock
I
the
throw
door.
him his gun back.
He
He
catches
needs
it.
that
Thank you.
much more than us. And so we can jet.
He rocks around. So it's ready. And then you all set off in your various vehicles. It is not a long drive, as nothing in this town is a long drive because it's fairly short, a small area. You go about 20 minutes away from the hospital here. I'm double checking really quick.
That is actually pretty serious for Charming. We've only been doing like 8-minute jumps, so that's pretty huge.
Yeah, you're going towards the west right now. So you're driving opposite your current location. And you get 20 minutes down. So you're driving through some middle of the town traffic, several lights, getting caught behind some slow moving farm trucks. But you make it in fairly good time, all things considered, to the country club. Golden Oaks Estates is what this place is called. You see that there are some a few large, almost McMansions, basically built on the property, and then a very large main lodge country club with a golf course behind it. And as you drive past that and the big gate that leads towards it, you see on the opposite side of the road, to your left, the smoldering remains of a church that was not able to be put out quite fast enough. You see smoke billowing and the flashing red lights of a couple of fire trucks. Basically, the entire fleet of Charming is here, putting out the last bit of smoldering remnants.
All
That thing must
wow,
have gone
both
up
trucks.
quick.
That's huge.
Both trucks. They really were trying, and they didn't get here fast enough.
Actually, if they have a good fundraiser, they might have like four. They might have four in one of those little snubby ones. So I mean,
They've got 2 full-size ones, and then a couple like town trucks that the fire chief drives.
that's great.
And that's basically what they get.
Man, for the whole church to be burnt up like that, it must have been a big fire.
For the whole church to burn up in what, 2 hours? That place must have been soaked in gas. All right, and I'll park the truck. I get. Is there? It's the '90s. I'm like, is there street parking? Questions that truly don't matter. I'll pull up onto the curb and hop out of the car.
Now, one question. Thomas, and who went with Thomas in your car?
It's me, Charles, Will, and if anybody else wanted to, I can take another person. There's just not much reason for me to.
And then Connor, Jim, and Jessica are getting in the van, Connor's van.
Did we?
Actually-
It depends on where we
No.
left Emily, right?
And that's the point I'm about to get to. You
So-
all pull up. Go ahead.
I did my fear check too and failed that one. So I would have probably gone towards Puck's car, like kind of shivered a little bit,
Come
done
on.
a 180, and run over to the truck or to
Charles,
the janitor van. I'll be like, I'll drive with them this time. Sorry.
what a dick.
Boo. Yeah, so you get in your car very quickly. Thomas, you start it up and rip out of here. We've already established that Thomas is a lead foot when it comes to getting around to mystery.
Real
to
bad.
mystery.
Thomas looks over at Will going 85 miles an hour down a 2-lane 30-mile-per-hour road and goes, "Do you like Rush?" and puts a cassette in.
Yeah, the tunes really help even that out. We jump over to the others who are just gathering into Connor's van. We're doing a bit of a pullback. Connor, you get into the front seat. Who's joining you in the front seat there? Anyone, or is everybody else getting in the back? I think that's Jessica, Charles, and Jim.
Jim is in the back, pulling security. Getting
Nice.
ready to take anything from behind or on the sides.
Sure, I'll take shotgun then, and sort of just kind of like holding my kind of wounds and stuff.
Nice. And Jessica?
Well, I thought I would be sitting with Emily, most likely.
Jessica and Jim. Jim, you swing open the back doors of the van as Connor and Charles slam the front doors shut as they enter. Jessica, looking in as Jim walks up, you see that Emily is laying down on one of the like bench seats back here, laying across it.
How about you go and cover her, little lady? I'll take over. I'll make sure nothing gets in here if we need to deal with it. Got it? I'll
Yeah,
sit
sure.
right
I'll
over
just like
here.
cover up with a little blankie and
Yep.
make sure she's all right.
There we
Yeah,
go.
you grab. There's a couple blankets back here from the chilly
Mhm.
nights during stakeouts. So you grab one and you cover her up, and you see that she's still folded up there. She does not stir as you cover her.
But she's like alive, right?
Yeah, you don't need to roll anything for that. You see that she's breathing.
Okay, why did you say it like that?
You don't need to roll. I was gonna
Why
be
did
like,
she
you're not gonna
fall?
check her pulse or anything. You don't need to roll. You
Check her
can see that
pulse.
she's breathing.
I have some follow-up questions about how she fell asleep in this situation, but okay. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. All right, out of character.
Okay.
Out of character. Emily is conscious and she feels like the witch. Jessica feels less like the witch. Emily loses consciousness, and halfway across town, the church burns down. I think the witch
Coincidence.
is body hopping and that there is a teen girl with a bone to pick where we are driving to right now.
Coincidence.
Probably.
We can hope. Jessica looks
the-
over at the 1800s newspaper about the church burning down last time.
The van peels out and joins Thomas on his pursuit towards here. We all open with the flashing lights of the fire trucks. You see about 10 volunteer firefighters here, stomping out the last of the flames. As you approach, you see the chief talking on a radio, and he nods. And as he sees you pull up, he waves and pulls you over.
Who'd have thunk it?
He's waving us to come closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like saying you can hop out and come over.
Well, we're deputies now. We did the damn thing.
We are. I don't know how they know that already, though.
So for the record, when you get on the radio and you call out that something is wrong, the fire company locally, the police locally, and the EMT locally all hear you. In almost every case, that is the same big band, and everybody will hear. Emergency services all hear each other because they all have to report to the same things. So when the sheriff said, "Is anybody there?" everybody heard him ask that. And then when he said, "Hey, they might be coming by," everybody heard him say that.
Cool.
There's positives and negatives to that, but that is just how emergency radio works. So hopefully this fire chief doesn't go to this church and has a gun behind his back. We'll see.
Cool.
Who approaches first?
Connor.
Oh,
Connor? Yeah, Connor, you step out and you start walking towards him. And he says, y'all are the new deputies, right? Just want to make sure that we're all on the same foot.
Yep. Sheriff deputized us. 20 minutes ago.
Cool.
An hour and 40 minutes ago.
An hour 40. Got it. So, bit of a situation here. We have put out the flames. As you can tell, there was some accelerant used. You can all smell that gasoline has just been poured over this place. It reeks. And he says, and there are 3 dead inside. Inside is a bit of a strong term. You see that the walls are basically collapsed, and they're you can see like the outline of a charred corpse. He says, we haven't positively identified him because the fire was just too hot. So, first of all, shouldn't have been anybody in there at this time. Incredibly late. 3 people that were here instead of maybe the priest at most would have been in here. That's strange. And the accelerant. We're thinking it's probably murder. What else?
Yeah. Is there a residence attached to the church? Like, does the priest live in the building?
The priest doesn't.
I can't remember what that's called, a rectory or whatever it is. Okay. That certainly is strange. We did have issues with, you heard about the mayor, right?
Yeah, we heard about that.
Did you heard
Still
about
don't really.
President of the college?
No, nothing about him.
Yeah, got picked up for causing trouble. And they both attend private meetings together and this place. So we're sort of got some weird stuff going on. So keep your eyes open. There might be the foulest of available play sort of going on. Thomas is trying to obscure details while also making sure that these people don't all die. Is sort of his balance strike right now. So he's trying to just make it sound like something weird is going on without preluding sort of too much of what actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll make sure all the boys out here are staying safe, but I mean, take a look around. You got any questions for me? Happy to answer them, but
yeah,
that's what we've seen.
What's around this area?
Around here, it's basically just the country club, golf club, several large mansion-esque houses, this place, and then a bunch of woods. This is out pretty far in the outskirts of town. It's like it's not a new development, but they're trying to develop it further because it's not in the center of the town.
And it's grounded that it seems bizarre that there's this much money in Charming, right?
Yeah, this is like the rich people all decided there was some stuff they wanted, and so they pooled their resources to build it up. For the most part, the town's fairly poor. but the college has sent some money in. Some people have moved here because of the college, etc.
Gotcha. Great. Yeah, I mean, Thomas is gonna roll over. He'll shoot Jessica a look and sort of make his way over past her, away from the fire chief, and go, "All right, psychic squad, roll out!" And we'll make his way over to where there is fire and trauma and things that hopefully we can sort of attune to magically, because that's what we do.
And
Yeah,
I'll
you walk
do-
through.
I'll do FBI searching without psychic abilities.
Eyes, nose, ears, the
Yeah.
usual.
My brain.
Now, this actually is a pretty huge question I have for us, just like process-wise here. Who's rocking high sharp, and is anybody got anything else going on? I'm pretty split. I've got +2 sharp, +2 weird, so I could just as well do investigate a mystery or read a bad situation and get something. +2, so we got a lot of people that can hit sharp. Can anybody do anything particularly wild with their abilities? Like, I can do the psychic environment thing, but Jessica, you can do much the same, right?
Do you want me to move anything big? I guess I can help out with that.
You need me to manipulate somebody, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, does anybody have higher than a +2 kicking around?
Oh, only for weird.
Okay, so for weird, it doesn't
weird.
with the monstrous doesn't really gel too well. Jessica, do you have a +3 sitting anywhere?
Yeah, weird.
Okay, so
If,
if somebody wanted, so the best person to help to ensure success would be to help Jessica with a weird roll. And so if we do it that way, then Thomas will actually not do his psychic thing. It'll be more helpful for me to investigate a mystery and just poke around the fire than for us to double up on the psychic nonsense. Michael, what's up?
I was gonna say if I'm doing reading a bad situation, I get +3.
So we can really kind of split our, so to not get too movesy about it, Thomas will start to just actually move around the area. I'm sure it's still a little too hot to get like up in the middle of everything, but Thomas will start to like make his way over and look at what he can from a sort of medium safe distance, trying to look at the things that he can, looking mainly for signs of where's the accelerant from, is anybody lingering, trying to sort of look at the clues situation.
I'm looking at dead bodies, like placement, if they were stuck, if they were like bound here, if they were the ones that started it, maybe.
So we're gonna open with the general investigation here, the mundane. Connor, you walk up. This is going to be investigate a mystery. So roll +sharp.
I was hoping for that reading a bad situation.
There's no danger right now, so you can't read about it. This is a formerly bad situation.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. It was a bad situation. So sharp.
Yeah, sharp.
Okay. All right. With a -1, I got 9.
-1 as an FBI agent for sharp is wild.
It's so
Yeah.
funny.
It was a 9, so you hold 1.
Cool.
So you've got the list in front of you. What do you ask?
Do I? Where's the list?
On the reference sheet. So you've got what happened here. What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
I would do what's being concealed here.
You look around here and you quickly realize you're going to get almost nothing out of these bodies. The clothes have been burned away. If there was rope, it's been burned away. There's no metal on them. You see like a wedding ring on one of the hands, so that has survived. There's a pair of glasses that haven't fully melted, but you're not getting anything, really. And then you start looking around the remnants of this building. And you find, as you walk around, behind the pew is a trap door. So just being concealed here is a trapdoor underneath a rug with like hidden wood paneling that hasn't been totally burned away. Enough of the wax hiding it has melted that you could see the seams. And when you see that, you pull it open and it's not locked. We jump to the next investigator. This is happening at the same time. Who else is doing a mundane check? Anyone?
Thomas is just going to is just going to be investigating the scene. While Connor says he's going to go look at the bodies. So Thomas is looking for evidence of who did this, what happened, and is hoping for something. You know, a burnt piece of cheerleader ribbon would get us 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah. Thomas, go ahead and roll me that investigate.
Okay, I'm just hoping for the best here. Oof. Also mixed. 8.
An 8. So you get to ask one question.
I'm stuck between what sort of creature is it and where did it go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost positive it was the witch, unless it was self-inflicted, which would be wild. I think I'm going to go a little bit more basic than that then, because I have both questions. I'm just going to go what happened here. Thomas is trying to get an outlook on the whole situation, trying to understand what happened, where did the fire start, does he see signs? Then he's going to start doing things that, the fire company doesn't really need to do. He's going to look for tracks, because it'll help us a lot to see a shoe print, because we know we are looking for adolescent or younger woman or not. Like, that is our toggle. So we have a much more acute and thin piece that we're looking for. So he's going to try to figure out what happened, look for maybe if there are footprints, what the size is. So just trying to get a sense for the whole situation more so than like, where did anything go? What specifically was it?
You look around here. The first thing, you're going to notice a couple things as you do a more general search. First, you do not find any footprints. The ground is fairly muddy, so it's strange that there's nothing leading around, nothing on the outside. You do see on the walk up, there's a couple of like blades of grass that have been stomped on, like on that path. But the rest, there's nothing that stands out to you. What does stand out to you is that from a charred remnant of a building, the things that are still standing are some posts, as they would be. The ground is still standing. And the sections where windows were, the glass is still there. It's still up. None of it's been broken. The door is still standing. It has not been broken.
That is physically impossible. So Thomas will walk over to the rest of the group and just take the time to... So at some point during Connor's scene, he hears Thomas go, the windows aren't shattered, and those should have been the first thing to go pretty much no matter what, especially if there was people inside trying to make their way out. But regardless of that, the heat would have taken those things out immediately, and the door is just a big piece of tinder. Well, Thomas will go up and rap his knuckle on the door. Does it clang like metal instead of the wood that it should be?
It is wood.
Okay, so something absolutely bizarro has happened here, because that's literally impossible.
Very perplexing, yeah.
Thomas will take the knife that Jim gave him out of his pocket and try to scratch the door. Try to, take a wood flake out of it and just see if it does anything.
You don't need to roll anything for this one. You pull out the knife and you start scratching at it, and the first few passes, nothing, it doesn't cut into it. It doesn't catch nothing. You do it for 10 seconds, and right at the end of it, you see a nick start on it.
I think the door has been reinforced, but it is still wood, and he'll knock on it again. It's still wood. So they did something. So they were afraid of something coming through a window, maybe? They were afraid that somebody was going to throw, I don't know, a bottle full of gasoline with a rag stuck on the top.
Maybe.
Through a window. Is there a chimney in this room?
There's not. What was Charles's question?
I guess if they're preparing, if they were working against the witch, maybe they tried to protect the place with charms, but the charms were too specific and only protected the ways into this building.
Well, that's the... Did it look like it was a stone building or a wood building?
This is a wood building.
Yeah, I mean, Charles, could happen, especially if they tried to protect the whole place, but they ended up protecting parts of it. It's easy to defend a door, it's one piece. It's easy to defend the glass of a window, it's one piece. To try to defend the whole building, unless you're very good at it, means you got to go plank by plank. You know what I mean? If you do it wrong, you end up blessing one plank of wood. So I guess that could be it, but it could also be something more mundane. I don't know.
And mid-sentence, one of the panes of glass shatters and collapses. And then another one shatters and collapses. And then one of the doors slams down. And another pane of glass shatters and scatters to the ground.
Like Schrodinger's church we have here, maybe? Or Heisenberg's church
Perfect. What is
being
it?
observed and falling apart.
I don't know. I don't know at all. About now, does Connor open up that hatch?
Yes.
Yeah, Connor,
Okay.
you open up the hatch.
Wait, can I?
Oh,
can
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
also- can I just looked at the thing when it says use magic, it says that I can hold on. See something?
There's like 36 options
I
for
know,
use
I'm
magic.
sorry.
I'm gonna.
No, I'm telling the audience who might not have played
Oh,
Monster of the
sorry.
Week.
It's I know. I almost definitely know the one you're gonna go for. It's second to last on the list.
Yes, observe another place or time. Yes, correct.
You're gonna try to look back in time.
Back in time.
Yeah, doing a Men in Black 3. You what are you doing when you're using this magic? Be warned, there are firefighters still crawling around this area.
I would say probably just something simple like touching it, like a little bit of a Lorraine Warren situation. So nothing flashy, maybe there's a little bit of light, but maybe they don't notice that.
So what part of the building or bodies, what are you going to touch?
I was hoping honestly to touch the ground,
Mhm.
just so I can get like the view of what happened. Like if they're like because it happened at this place, I feel like that's important.
Yeah. You put your hand down and roll weird for use magic. And I think there's going to be a help out from somebody here as well. We've got Jim and Charles who haven't taken an action. So if you guys wanted to roll to help out, one of you can do that.
I
So
got a 10.
Jim was kind of just sticking around. He was kind of like just watching the perimeter.
With a
Also
10,
kinda
there's no reason to help out. Jim, roll me. I'm gonna say plus sharp, just in general.
Nicole, that means you did something good. He's making you wait. He's doing Jim's things first.
That's 11.
The secret note. What'd you get?
11.
An 11. Very nice. This isn't really reading about situation or investigating a mystery. I'm just giving you essentially a perception check here.
Mhm.
So while you're wandering around the woods, listening, trying to hear, when you're intently listening for something, like in the middle of the night, and then a loud noise happens, and it's as if it was 1,000 times louder than it actually was because of how intently you were listening. That's you. You're crawling through the woods on your belly, arms out, rifle in hand, looking around, and you're passing by the road where you'd all parked, and you hear, listening for something. You swear there's something in the woods, and then the doors of the van clunk open up, and you see as Emily steps out, eyes kind of wide, wiping some like tears away from her face. She says, "Oh, I thought everybody left me. I was terrified. What's happening?" And she sees you, Jim, but you don't see anything in the woods.
This guy looks like he starts crawling over very, very quickly, making sure he's not making too much noise because still paranoia. It's too quiet.
I
It's way
love
too quiet.
Jim army crawling through cut grass next to a road. It's so good.
He pops up his little head.
Oh, yeah,
You're awake.
yeah.
You all doing all right? Where you? How were you able to sleep through all this?
I felt exhausted all of a sudden. I just collapsed, and I was laying in there, but I'm feeling pretty good now. What did I miss? The last thing I remember, I was like in a cabin,
Oh no.
In a cabin?
and we jump over to Jessica.
In a
uh,
cabin. Oh.
Jessica, you put your hand on the ground, and light from your hand Charles has blocked the view of the firefighters here for a second. Charles, is there something you were about to pull out?
Huh?
Were you about to?
No, I don't think so.
Gotcha. Yeah, you block the view so the firefighters don't see this glow from her hand. But Jessica, you lock into the history of this place. You got a 10, so that is a full success. First of all, congratulations. It works without issues, and you've chosen the effect to see a former time. You jump back, and you're trying to look pretty recent, so you don't go too far back. You go back to the beginning of this night. The sun has already set. You see twilight outside of these windows. The glass is stained, and it's hard to really make out the light, but there's some candles lit in here as well. You see 3 men sitting on a couple of pews here, and one of them back behind a lectern. None of them wearing priest's garb, all of them wearing pretty nice clothing. You see suits and ties, and a like corduroy jacket outfit on one of them. And the one wearing the corduroy jacket has a pair of like thin frame glasses. He is standing behind the lectern, and he says, "Well, looks like things are going pretty much exactly as we'd planned. So, congratulations, gents. I think that I think the Lord would be pleased. I think we've done pretty good. So, the last bits here are making sure that the last couple points of the star get lit up. That way everything's set, and we should be heading heavenward pretty soon." And you hear like a hear, a cheer go out from the other couple. They're clearly excited. And they start congratulating each other, basically. A bit of a circle jerk, if we're being honest. And then you hear a faint sound, like a ringing of a bell. Ding! Almost like when you open the door to a store and they've got the old-fashioned ones over the top. That rings out, and they all like stand up a little bit straighter. And you see fear fill them. That sound shouldn't elicit that response. Not unless they knew something. And they clearly did. They get up and bolt for the door. They run up to it, slam into it, and they can't open it. They start banging against it, trying to open it. And then you see through the stained glass that purple.
Oh.
The entire outside of the church lights up around it and starts encircling. One of them grabs a wooden block on the side and throws it at one of these glass panes, and it bounces off. And they just start going, "Oh shit, oh shit!" And they're hammering. They pick up a pew together and they start slamming it into the door, and nothing is working. And the fire creeps in, smoke filling them, and you hear a cackle. And the vision ends.
I hate to say this, witch whips ass. It's so unfortunate. Unfortunately, we did briefly lose internet on my end. Everybody froze for a minute. So I caught almost everything. What did they hear that made them panic?
It was a
Okay, the bell. Gotcha.
Sound of a bell.
Bell first, great. Oofa doofa. All right.
Nice.
What did you see? I look over at Jessica.
So yeah, I think we're all thinking it was the witch. Correct. And they couldn't get out of the windows and the door.
It wasn't to keep things out, it was to lock them in.
Correct.
And as that said, Connor, you open up the trap door. Jim, you walk back in, Emily in tow. The trap slams into the ground. Dust and ash flies up and around. You got to cough a little bit and blow it out of your face. And you see that there is like lantern light coming from down below. It's dark down there, and it feels humid.
Okay.
Kind of curious if this was their kind of like place of kind of like meeting, and they didn't know about a trap door to escape to.
That.
I maybe
Why
they built their
wouldn't they go
church where
down
the
there?
yeah, maybe they built their church on top of the witch's cabin.
Wait, the bell that went off didn't lead to the front door, right?
Mm-mm.
So the bell probably rings when something happens down there.
Huh.
So my guess is there's something down there that they are afraid of. Well, and I look down at the bodies, rightly so. We're afraid
Yeah.
of.
You
All right.
all lean up a little bit as they say that. Connor, you're looking down into the dark depths below.
Mm-hmm. I go to a firefighter. Hey, got a flashlight, something, got a torch.
I got
Couple,
one.
please.
Click.
He hands one out. He calls the other guys over, and they hand you each a torch, as the British would say.
I'm gonna investigate.
Yeah, Connor,
about
you
right to
start
me.
walking down.
I'll
Oh,
click my light as well and start to head down with everybody else. Jim, are you going to signal to us that Emily does not remember anything?
Yeah, so like as we open, I was just waiting for this moment. Like,
No, totally.
so I know you're all about to go down here, but I think we all need to talk for a little bit. Because this one right here, and he's like literally just poking at her, says she doesn't remember anything since a cabin.
huh.
Do you know who we are?
I know Jessica.
I look at Charles.
I know Charles. Yeah, I
You know-
think I've seen him. And she points at Connor.
So she saw. So you saw Charles walk. Oh no, you know Charles from the school, of course. He's the.
Yeah,
Oh, goodness gracious!
I know Jim. I don't know you.
I'm just gonna hold out hope. You don't happen to smell toast, do you?
It smells like gasoline.
Well, I'm afraid we've had a series of conversations between you and the various members of our group after you left the cabin and we went to the hospital and a few other things occurred. So I'm afraid you
Yeah.
you
Do
seem to have had a
remember-
terrible fright, some kind of fugue-like
Mm-hmm.
episode. Do you remember anything from your time unconscious? Did you dream about anything in particular? I mean, just so we know some sense of what you got or did not.
No, but I need to tell you that the president he was chasing me. I don't know if anything's happened, if he's been like attacking people or something, but he was chasing me down, and I got away from him, and that's how I ended up in the woods, and I found a cabin, and then nothing.
Great. Yeah, he is luckily in jail for that now,
Oh.
so no need to worry about that.
Good, good.
One
when
of
I
a
found you in
few.
the cabin, though, you were conscious and kind of followed me back here. So you don't maybe you were like in a traumatic state then or something. Perhaps you're like when you took a nap in the car, maybe you just sort of forgot everything that was too traumatic.
I don't remember at all.
I'm
Huh.
going to open my mind to the psychic environment and see
Yeah, go
if
ahead.
she is still haunted.
Mhm.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I gain a hazy impression about something important. So I'm mainly just trying to see, like, do I feel the presence of the witch, like I do when I focus on Jessica?
It feels exactly the same as when you typically focus on Jessica. It's as if she has been touched and imbued with power. And it feels upsetting and unnerving. You don't feel the same way you did before.
I think Thomas not thinking as hard about Emily's thing in the moment and a little caught up in the fact that we have to get going. We'll look at Jessica and go, she still feels the same that you do. I just think that maybe most of the others can't push back as well as you can. All right, well. Who's going down in the tunnel and who isn't? We've got firefighters that y'all can stay with if you ain't feeling safe. William, I'm afraid you're somewhat stuck with us. I do continue to feel the best place for you to be is with us. But if that makes you uncomfortable and you know a safe place to go, I mean, I suppose. I still don't think it's smart, but you could do it.
William's been sort of outside of the church during this. He
Oh.
didn't really want to go in to see anything in there. But as you call out to William, saying you're kind of stuck with us, he says, "I don't really have anywhere else. I'll stick around. Should I
Oh.
come in?
You knew these people pretty well, eh?
Probably."
I'm gonna just before you come in. Who was the man that wore glasses? The
My
man with
dad?
glasses.
My dad.
Well, William, and I will walk out to him and go,
That's my dad.
unless there is some other strangeness going on, there are 3 bodies inside, and one of them has a pair of thin metal frame glasses on that didn't melt. So, I wouldn't come in unless you think you can.
He walks in to look because he needs to be sure, and he does see those glasses, and he does fall to his knees by his dad, and he wells up. He's crying, but
We flash to an almost identical memory of Thomas as a young man watching his high school burn.
Oh,
And he kind of shivers a little bit and walks away from William over to one of the other areas and just ends up kind of just looking at like the molding of a burned down building.
he looks up to all of you and says, "I'll stay here. Just I'll be here when you're done." And he gestures towards the trap for all of you.
I'm gonna give him a little hug.
Yeah, he accepts it. He puts one arm around you, and then it falls.
I'm gonna hand him a Bowie knife that Jim gave me. Go, you just
He
take
takes
that.
it, sets it down.
And then I'll head towards the trapdoor.
I just give him some water.
Yeah. You give him some water, and he does take a quick sip, and he sets it down, and he wipes his face.
Jim is gonna go join. He puts his hand on him and looks like, I know it's not the right time right now, but I know what it's like to lose. If you ever need someone to talk or listen, just give me a word.
Thanks, Jim.
As we're walking back, Thomas will go, well, I think we can cross William Graham's father off the sort of public enemy #1 list. He's definitely not at home, however, as we start to head towards that trapdoor in the back.
and considering the damage the other bodies took, these ones probably won't come back to life. I hope.
I look over. I mean, they're burnt, but they're not like they're not like broken apart, right?
Yeah, they're burnt. They're not broken apart. They're just charred corpses.
Because you guys had to, I don't know if you guys noticed in the descriptions of our fights, we're zombie rules. You guys had to like decapitate for them to stop
yeah.
moving. Or like full, or like no heart at all, like shotgun to the chest. So there's a chance, but I mean, we gave him a knife. Hopefully he's smart. He'll know to get up and get running if things start to get too strange.
Will, do you mind if we sort of piecemeal these bodies so they don't come back? Or
Charles,
are you
Charles.
a little too...
The firefighters will be along to at least bag them up or something like that. It's, to be perfectly frank, wild that they are not already have not already been handled and handed over to a mortician.
They're letting you do it because the deputies were here, so they're like, "We're not going to touch a crime scene. We're just checking it out." But the firefighters are like, "Deputies are coming. They'll look." Yeah,
If that's true at that mention, Thomas will go, Charles, good idea, but let's let a professional do it. And Thomas will run out and talk to the fire chief. And just, I don't want to spend too long on it. He'll just really quickly be like, hey, you should pack the bodies up. If there is any physical evidence left in there, it was destroyed by the fire. We're not going to find, DNA or anything. Once you find, origin of whatever, that'll be our most likely thing anyways. And we're about to go check out the basement. So, if there is a source for this, that seems to be the only place it even could be.
sure. I'll call up the mortician and get it all set.
Thanks. And he'll jog back.
Connor, you are standing at the top of the staircase here, leading down into the dark, dank depths below. Do you descend the stairs?
Oh, 100%.
Flashlights, click, 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 all turn on. Emily is staying behind with Will. Both of them are sitting on some less burnt pews. After a minute, they both sit down next to each other, and you all descend flashlight shining. You walk about 10, 15, 20 steps down, pretty deep for a basement. Fairly deep for a basement, especially in a modern construction. You wave the flashlights around, and you see a small bank of cemented flooring, and you hear the rushing of water, and you see what is ostensibly a miniature river. It's like maybe 6 feet across, and then another set of cement next to it, making up this bank, and the water is flowing past it, actively moving.
Is there a boat? Anything like that? Does the ceiling drop very low once we leave this space?
Once you go down the steps, what you're looking at is basically like a 20-foot room where the middle of it is this 5-foot river. And there's like 6 feet of cement on either side. And the ceiling is only about 10 feet above you, not even like 8 feet above you.
So what is the mouth and outflow of this? Where's the water coming from and where's it going to?
So that's coming through like there's a wall and a wall. And underneath that is clearly a large opening for the water to pass through, and it's the same on the other end. This is a room built around a river piece.
I really hope it's not a swim under the river thing. That sucks. I mean, Thomas will go down the stairs and just start looking around. He reaches somebody. He looks around and goes, "Somebody here's got to have a canteen, right?"
Yeah, for Jim would for sure have a can. He's drinking from it right now.
I have like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Thomas takes the lid to like whatever we have and dunks it in the river and like gives it a sniff.
Thomas, as you dunk it, roll me plus sharp.
Oh no!
This is going to be investigate a mystery.
That feels the closest we've ever had to. You touch it? You're sure? Okay.
You're gonna take a sip? Yeah, go ahead.
9.
A 9.
Mixed.
You bend over and fill up the cap of this fairly rapid rushing water. You hold on to it, but as you look down into the water below, you see a glint off of your flashlight, and you look closer, and you see that there's a set of chains attached to a manacle on either side of this cement here in the water.
What do you imprison in running water? The vampire thing, I've heard. What do you want to stay submerged in a flow of running water? Vampire, I know they used to drown witches, but like, was that not because they were testing for witchcraft, but because of some deeper truth?
Buoyancy, right?
Well, you know they'll sink if you manacle them to the bottom, Charles. And I look at these chains. Do they have like... Well, they're in free-flowing water. I was about to ask you a stupid question. I was about to be like, is there crusted blood on them? These underwater manacles?
What you do see is they look old. Ancient old.
I'm literally saying all this out loud, and I'll point them out to everybody. And be like, we've got manacles attached like they kept something in the water ad nauseum. That jingling of bells, where were those? I look around, we don't see any bells anywhere, do we?
So you didn't notice it on your approach because I didn't describe it, but above this trap, there was a bell that had been set that when passed had fallen down onto the steps. So it was like off to the side. There was a bell set there.
So, so they had... So whoever the witch possessed last, maybe they found a way to chain her up? Stuck here for who knows how long? That's not good. I gotta be honest, folks. I don't know what else to make of it. I'll like gesture over to the manacles. I mean, it's just, you said it's like a 20-foot concrete room. I say it looks like a jail cell.
Yeah.
What else? The other thing that is noticed here is going to be on Jessica's part. As you walk towards the water, Jessica, you see two things here on the cement over to the side. There is a Ouija board and there is a notebook.
Stupid. Can I go and touch it?
Yeah. Roll plus weird. And in the meantime, Charles, what were you about to ask?
I have just blanked out.
all good.
Earlier I was going to see if we had like one of those little glow sticks, because I was going to like crack one of those and drop it in the water to see how it flows away.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for sure. There's no reason not to have one of those. Charles, you crack one of them and you drop it, and you see it down past the chains, and it gets picked up and it rushes out towards the left. So you're looking at the river, right, left, straight across it, and you see that green glow dim as it goes down past the mouth.
So
I have a weird question. The river, is that flowing towards any of the sites that like somebody's died?
depends on did we approach from was the door on the eastern side?
I'm going to say, just to make it easy, the answer is yes, because it's heading in the cardinal direction of west. Of east, and you're in the west. So inevitably there was a death over in the east.
Okay.
So that's specifically headed towards, from where we are now, if it went directly east, it passed the mayor's office and the tire marks by the school and the hospital. Everything is east of where we are right now. So that's pretty major. All right.
Okay.
Wait, did I say that it was they said something about a star?
Hmm?
Did
Oh,
I
yeah.
say that in the vision that about
Points.
they said
Yeah.
something about points of a star?
I mean, yeah, we've got the tires at the park, the hospital, the
Yeah,
mayor,
but
the
they said
deli
that
body,
they-
the school tires, and then the church puts, that's 5 points on our map, plus 1 if we count the church.
Well, they said they did it all and then they got burned.
Yeah, I mean literally. So it's so for the record, it's Shady Grove in the middle. The deli body is the top point of the star. Hospital, school tires, mayor's office, park tires. So it is a literal pentagram across the middle of the town.
And there's a center point.
No, we're on the edge. We're out.
We're on
Right,
the
we're
edge.
out. We are beyond the
yeah.
edges of the
You're
circle.
basically
because-
on the edge. Yeah, you're outside of it.
With
Shady
that,
Grove is the middle.
Shady Grove's in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Shady Grove? Sorry.
That's
is the
where
wooded area.
Jessica lives.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Might want to check that out. Maybe.
I don't think there's a maybe about it. We're in a closed room with nothing else in it, and we got to go somewhere. Connor, trust your instincts.
Yeah. Well, that we're still asking a little bit. You said there's a notebook. As Jessica's reaching for the spooky board.
Yeah, you're grabbing the Ouija board, right? What did you get on the weird roll?
I rolled 7 again, plus 3. I rolled 2 7s in a row.
Damn.
Nice. Sounds good.
Jessica is very magic.
Yeah. Well, she's reached for that. I'm just going to thumb through the notebook a little bit.
You touch the Ouija board here, and the first thing you feel, Jessica, is a pain in your chest, your lungs filling up, not being able to breathe, and you pull back. And with a 10, you reach back out and you touch it, anticipating that feeling. And you get the sense that whoever was chained up down here was essentially drowning all the time. And were being asked questions during the drowning, whenever this was happening, to get information. And you see Connor reach over to grab this notebook. Connor, you flip it open. It is written in English. It is in a modern hand. It's not Old English. It's not hard to read. It's not ancient. And you see essentially just a notebook detailing the steps that need to be taken to free this being that is currently wandering, and to bring about the end. Just verifying some stuff, where to get items, where to find the obsidian blades, where some of these lost tomes were. And the impression you get is that several months ago, the communication stopped. There were dates in there. There was some information there. And several months ago, there was no more communication.
Interesting. I flipped to the back. See the final step.
The final step, you see they must take the sun to the heart. Once there, stab him as you've done the others, and the deed will be done.
Okay.
Okay.
I say, all right, William is not going to Shady Grove.
Oh, we just left William upstairs. We should.
I'll go check on him.
Yeah, Charles, how
I'll-
about you head up there, DM, man? The only thing I can't figure out that we have a continuing problem with, I do not understand the relationship between this being, these cultists, the body hopper, and the witch. I do not understand what they are. Why did the body hopper attack in the hospital? It wasn't doing anything useful. It wasn't even really a good distraction. It didn't kill anybody important. It didn't distract anybody from anything important. It didn't keep us away. It almost makes it seem like it's a servant of the witch. But it's
'cause it
attacking
kept us
civilians.
It kept us away from the fire.
But why would we have stopped the fire? This is the only thing I don't understand. I do not understand the purpose of this stone-wielding maniac. Because if it's keeping us away, why? If it's trying to kill the sheriff and a couple of it was killing random civilians. If this is the witch saying, I'll do whatever I need to do to keep the world safe, I get it. But I don't even understand what it could possibly have been going for. Unless it attacked the hospital to pull the fire alarm. If it killed, it can't have killed 6 people just to pull a fire alarm, can it?
There were fire alarms all over. It could have entered, pulled, and left. The killing was not.
So unless the sheriff is on, and it was either brought about by the cultists trying to wait, no, because the sheriff would have responded to a call, right? So it would have been easier to kill the sheriff in his office.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't understand. That's the thing that I don't know. I do not understand the connect. Do any of you have an insight here that I do not have? I just don't see how the pieces fit together. It seems like they're already done. I hate to say it, but it rapidly seems like the solution is to stick Will Graham on a Greyhound bus. I just don't see I don't understand what the connection is. Why the witch hasn't come out and told us what's happening. Why she hasn't talked to you and what this thing is. Tough crowd.
Thinking.
Well, Charles, you're upstairs.
Yeah. Okay. So I've already.
I
goosed,
assume.
All right.
What did Charles run upstairs for?
Check on Will
Check
quick.
on Will and give him the news about where to avoid.
Charles, you run upstairs. You see Will sitting with Emily still, and they're chatting a little bit. And they see you run up, and he looks up at you. His eyes are bloodshot.
Hey, Will. So, we did find some news downstairs. Apparently, the sacrifice plan was to take you to the center of town for that. So we're definitely going to have to make sure you do not go into Shady Grove. Okay.
Will's like, you're
okay.
blowing up my spot right now. The hardest anyone ever has. Can we not?
Yeah, all right. I won't go home. Okay. Sure.
Great. And in the meantime, we can definitely, I guess, get you a hotel on the outside of town, or if you've got a dormitory at the college.
Yeah, I've got a dorm. I got a dorm
Good.
room. Right, yeah, sure. Can somebody go to my house to grab my stuff if I can't go back to Shady Grove?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Cool.
I think they're probably coming up soon. There's just like a weird river down there and some manacles underwater. It's a little unnerving, so glad to be up here.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough.
Took
Yeah,
that
I'll
as straight.
start to get ready. Yeah, he's not at this point. He's barely even listening. He's like, "Yep, that sounds right, for sure." Manacles on the bottom of the big river. Yeah. All right, we cut back to the rest of the group. Does anybody have any theories they were going to offer up to Thomas now that a few minutes have passed?
This is me unironically being like, I would love to do something next, but as of right now, there's nothing to go do. Everybody's dead. All we need to do is keep Will Graham out of Shady Grove. And seemingly everything is fine. Like, I'm just really baffled about where this undead comes in and like what we're supposed to, like, what comes next here. I feel like I'm missing a piece of the puzzle.
I mean, that might not be everyone that's in on the plan. There's been five people now,
Five.
right?
Mayor, president, 111s. That's 5.
Yeah. We don't know the exact size. There might be more cultists.
He gave us a rough number. Keep talking. I'm gonna look up and see if I wrote down what
Yeah.
number he said.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much more than that, but I could see there being a few more. Especially if there's only that final step. And we're still loosely going based on this creature, I suppose, being in with the witch. There's still a chance that they aren't.
Yeah, it's just, it could be literally either way. Did it keep us from being here, or did it try to keep the sheriff and us from going to Shady Grove? And I don't know. It could have been doing either thing.
Yeah.
And run through the 5 points of the star.
Yeah, so we have the body that was found outside of the deli. We have that's our northern point. We have the hospital, which is the northeastern point. We have the tire marks at the school, which was our southeastern point. We have the mayor's office, which is our southwestern point, and we have the parks, the things at the tires, which is the northwestern point. So what really matters is that we have a dead body to the north, we have a dead body to the east at the hospital. At the school, the president tried to kill somebody there and failed. So there should be a dead body there, but there isn't. The mayor's office did have a dead body, so that's check. The deli had a body, that's check. There wasn't a body found in the park, right? Was there a body found in the park?
No, there was a disappearance at the park.
But they seem to say that it was all good.
So I don't know if they knew that the president of the college had been nabbed, because that happened. We got to remember, this all happened in like 3 or 4 hours. We just lost, we're playing a TTRPG. We lost a couple hours here or there. So there's 2 places where we do not have confirmed deaths. Right, so we know there was a dead body at the deli. We know there was a dead at the hospital. We know that there was dead at the mayor's office. The school should have had a dead body but didn't. And the park should had a kidnapping but no dead body. So there is a dead body at the park. And if we rewind our brains super far, if I had to guess, Spencer, am I right in remembering that somebody was missing before any of these other people went missing, and we never found out what happened to them?
That was the first person.
That was
found
the
at
first.
deli,
That was
right?
the first death. The one at the deli.
Oh, interesting. But okay.
You found out what happened to him. That was the first one. You haven't heard anything else.
So we have 2 points of the star missing. We have the park.
Does
and the school.
anyone know about the death from the first time this kind of all happened?
It seemed like the first time no deaths had happened, because we checked the obituaries and there was nothing strange.
There's none.
So I think
Okay.
the witch got it sooner last time.
Okay, fair enough. I was gonna say if there were 2 deaths, it might have been in those locations.
So Spencer, the park is opposite the school. That's not where like we were looking for Emily, right? She was closer to the school.
Emily was closer to the school. She had bust out from there. The park was where Taylor had gone missing. So maybe they don't need to die there, right? Maybe they just need to. If that's true, then Taylor
was picked up at the tires and died 1 point to the right at the deli. And the school body was picked up and then driven 1 point to the right and killed 1 point clockwise and killed at the next point clockwise. And then at the hospital, like 15 people died, all right there. So it seems like I'm getting the feeling maybe this ritual is a little bit, either they have 2 people left to kill or they're done and they don't need to kill somebody at each location.
For ease, I'm going to say there's one person that is a question mark, and that is who was chained up here under the water, and where did they get taken? What
Oh.
happened with them?
I didn't even think about that. So we're all, what are we all in the dirt and I'm drawing this with a stick?
Basically, yeah, you're on this like cemented bank, and there's a bunch of dust, and you're just
And
drawing
I go,
it
so
out.
we don't have a dead body in every place. We've got this weird man wielding a stone. Given off the biblical theme of our adventures, I'm gonna operantly call him Cain. We've got Cain, and we've got all these other people. I look over at the water. I have an anxiety that we have Abel, which would make Abel have turned somewhat murderous in his later years, but that's, I suppose, his business. Do we feel like we're missing anything else? Maybe we should get like a Roll20 note board going that we can all look at. That might
Some red
actually be
threads.
very helpful for some red threads. So unironically, we have to step out of character because we're stuck here. Where are we going? Are we going to do we have any reason to go to Shady Grove other than like
Yeah. The second,
Will wants
or
his
you-
stuff, but I'll take him to H&M, like whatever.
yeah, you did mention like possibly trying to investigate the witch's cabin, right?
That's just my next thought is like, if there's nothing else for us to do, it's so in my head, we got high risk, high reward. William Graham's house. We get his shit. We go into the study. That puts Will at an incredibly high amount of danger because we either leave him alone with the witch that wants him dead, or we take him with us to the place he's not supposed to go. Both of those options suck. But it's a very high reward as well. It feels like there's going to be a lot of information there. Second up, low risk, low reward. We try to find the cabin again. We've already been to the cabin. You roughly know how to get there. And we know what's in the cabin, and it seems like the answer is not very much. So it's very low risk, but I'm not sure there's that much to be found there.
Could we potentially go to Will's house, but then just not have him there? Like, just have somebody, like, perched up with him, like, just protecting him, keeping him out of harm.
We
Or at
just
least
don't
give
know
us,
how
like-
big this like gentleman's group is. Like we don't know how many members there are of the historical society. It could be 5.
Will said it to me before.
Did he? I didn't write it in my
Yeah.
notes. That's what I was looking through. So unfortunately, it's not something I have a record of. If we totally know that or not. So I suppose we could find out in 3
Roughly.
seconds either way, right? It doesn't really, it doesn't matter too substantially. The only other thing we could do is check the park for a dead body. And that's medium risk, medium reward. See if they are completing the circle or not.
Jessica can also try and see what happened downstairs as well. I don't know how well that would work.
Oh, like try to get a glimpse of who it was?
Yeah. Or where did it go? Sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not
wait a
bad.
minute. Where did it go? The trap door was sealed.
The trapdoor wasn't sealed. It looked like the wax had melted away. The trapdoor was closed.
Oh, so it let everything burn and then got out. So we just had a whole cool Mission Impossible sequence upstairs where while we were all talking, the witch in a firefighter's outfit walked out having stolen it off of somebody.
Yeah, because when the door opened, it was the bell.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think we got to do the stupid thing. Jessica, you should, if you feel up to it, if you're not afraid to use your magic here, you should see if you can parse what happened in the past, just so that we know who it is. But unfortunately, we can't settle for saving William. It's 1991. They get to try again in 11 years. Sorry, 2 years, 3 years. They get to try again in 2002. They get to give it another whirl. So if we don't clean this up, I don't know what happens next. So I think we're going to have to go to Will Graham's house. I just don't see another way to save, the world other than nothing that we all want to do. I suppose if push really comes to shove, I don't feel comfortable with it, but it's got to be said. If Will Graham needs to die in Shady Grove, it does pose the question, what happens if he dies somewhere else? Let's go save him, priority 1, but in a pinch, god damn it, we got to think about it. It's the whole world at stake. We don't have time to be too sentimental. He's a nice kid. Let's try and save him first.
Jessica cries quietly.
Jessica, you gonna use your magic?
Yes.
All right, Jessica, you walk towards the water. How are you using your magic?
Sorry, I just rolled a third 7.
7 plus 3, 10.
That's 777 in
Full
a row.
success.
Wow. You're having a real commune moment here. You and the witch.
That's weird.
I'm going to assume
Yeah.
you walk up and you use your magic in a very similar way here. You hold your hand out, and the first thing that happens to you is the magic fizzles. When you go to put it over this running water, it disappears. You try it again, and it disappears again. And you step back a few steps, and you put your hand on this cement, and then the magic picks up. And while you are here, you look around and you see the man in the black frame glasses sitting by the Ouija board, watching the planchette move slowly, piece to piece, writing down the notes it's given. And you see him walk, and you're looking through his eyes, the image distorted through those glasses, and you see in the water is the form of a young woman, maybe 20 years old, in a white undergarment dress with some gray trim that has been just tattered at this point. Her hair and ringlets pushing down by her, her face blue, drowned, but you see her eyes moving back and forth, still alive, and wearing clothes that are more than a century old. And he goes back to the journal, and the planchette moves a little bit faster, and he goes back to writing. And then your vision ends.
Okay, so I can't see like the busting it out and where it's going, but I could see just that.
You saw that section. That's all you got. If you could have used your magic in the water, maybe you would have gotten more, but you couldn't.
So, I want to take another look at the manacles. Are they open? Are they broken? What's going on?
The manacles are broken.
Damn.
It's as if they have been broken off the part around the wrist. The chains are still in this cement and rock.
The water looks clear.
I have something
right?
crazy to say.
Oh, go
Yes.
ahead, Jess. Sorry.
I just well, I guess I would say that what just happened mostly. But I, out of character, have something it's crazy to say. Is that what if? Hear me out. Maybe this is stupid, but it seems like if that was like the witch in the water, right, and they're holding her hostage, is that what that's what it feels like, right?
Definitely.
And she is telling them that what to do to break her out, but really she's pretending that it's like some godly thing. So then she got strong enough once it was all complete to break out and kill them. Or it's a coincidence.
Now, let me say something. I don't seem to recall the thought of stabbing a man 24 times does not sound particularly biblical, but does seem awfully witchy in a sort of once for
Yeah.
every hour of the passing eve kind of deal. So I think you might be onto something. First, I do
I
have
just
to
feel
check
like they'd be
something.
receiving messages via Ouija board.
And Ouija boards and cabins are both like wood-based structures, so maybe that's like a way she could amplify her magic beyond the water. Is, like,
Oh,
connecting through
interesting. Which of
wood.
the woods? The wood doesn't
Like
need
she
to be
was-
part of a tree for it to work. That's
Yeah.
funny. The door.
Oh,
Thomas,
the window frames being wood too, and all that.
Thomas is going to take off his hat and does not wear glasses, thankfully. And he is he might. I don't remember if he wears glasses or not. And he's going to go, I have to try and look. And he's going to stick his head in the river and try to look where the water flows. He's going to like take his
Yeah.
flashlight beam up out of it. Maybe he'll actually call somebody over to hold it so that he can try to see. I understand that this is ridiculous. I don't know what disadvantage looks like in this game, but his first thought is either Jess is right or a cheerleader jumped down a well and rode an underwater river over to here and like grabbed the witch. And those are the two
Yeah.
options. He thinks Jess is right, but the quickest way for him to check is to look like, is there a grate? Were they smart enough to like cap this in the two directions, or did they not think of that?
First of all, you got to roll me plus weird.
Plus weird.
Yeah. This is a psychic blow.
Oh,
Putting your head into this water.
I see. So
Oh,
you're
wow.
saying, I know Thomas thinks he is trying to use his perception. Baloney.
Thomas is shoving his head into torture water here real quick. So he's gonna have to deal with that blowback. as he looks.
Absolute Jimmy Neutron brain blast. 10 plus 2, 12.
10 plus 2, 12. You dunk your head under and you feel the pain that Jessica felt when she put her hand on that Ouija board. This water is pulling that energy away. This running water, this positive energy is burning that, but it's still there. And it's like feedback in your ears. You get a splitting headache as you do it. And then you shine the light and you look over the other way, and you do not see any gates blocking this.
So Thomas will pull his head up and go, first of all, point to Jessica, I got the same interference you did. Those people, this was a special kind of terrible. There's no grates. So Jessica, you might completely be correct. The only other option I have is the witch got something or somebody to drop something down a well, something that would access the same I honestly don't. Is it an aquifer? Like aquifer, underground river? I don't know what you call them. Like water table. So that's the only other option. It could be one or the other. Jessica, did the witch tell you to do evil shit or just like be nasty? I
Not,
just don't
like,
remember.
evil. She told me to like, mess with the tower. She told me to trip Charles.
Damn. All right. I don't think we're gonna learn more until
I
we.
feel like I don't think it's the witch that's doing it. But why are they going down to this weird little freak basement to like commune
I think the
with
witch.
the Ouija board?
I think the witch knew how to end things. I think she knew. I think she had, maybe the book was hers, right? Maybe the book was her family's, not theirs or something. And she kept it a secret and wouldn't tell them. And so they made this.
Like they're using her?
Yeah, they made like a torture wheel to force her to tell them on the promise of brief moments of relief. They pull her up for 10 minutes and it's worth a couple of secrets. And she thinks, whatever, it'll take them how so long to do it. But they were really doing it the whole time. So they torture her for the information. They start to put the seeds of evil in the kid. Because some of it's got to be real because we talked to something. There is something living in Will Graham. I think we got to go to his house. It feels stupid, but it feels like the only thing we can do.
And with the party ponying up, getting back into their various vehicles, sending the fire chief on his way to continue his investigation, seeing bodies getting wrapped up, Will wiping his eyes and joining you, Emily walking behind, entering the vehicles. We're going to end the session with the
Well-
party going to the heart of the town. See everybody next week. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, follow the channel, join us on TikTok. You can follow us on YouTube, Twitch. We live stream 3 times a week, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sunday, we do Game Masters, Masters of Games, where me, Ethan, and Michael play some video games. Right now, we're on Baldur's Gate 3, entering into Act 2. On Mondays, we obviously do this game, which is The Party Makes Things Worse. Currently, Monster of the Week, The Prince of Charming. We are getting down to the bottom of this mystery. We are getting to the last couple episodes here. So please join us next week. All of our streams are at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our last stream is every Tuesday, where we do DM Writers Room, where we demystify the DMing process. Me, Ethan, and Michael build adventures, campaign settings, magic items, monsters. We do various other systems. We do one-page RPGs. So check in. You can comment, and we'll try and add your ideas into our campaign settings and whatnot. So please like, follow, subscribe, share us with your friends and family. We appreciate you as always. We'll see you next week.
Peace. Just a quick, COO note. Are we having streams this next week? Right? That's a tentative. That might be no.
Tentative no. We might be recording and then streaming it from the record, but a couple of us are going on trips, so we will not be able to record live. So you'll have to watch a formal live stream, or we're going to push it back a week. We'll see. We're going to talk about that off stream. That's
I
all.
also have hurricanes going on.
Also
true.
hurricanes that are certainly going to drop power. That's for sure. So we'll be talking about it. We'll update you on our YouTube page. It'll give you an update on whether or not things are going to be live. And that's all. Good night.
Thanks, man. But